And then we have all these dances and everybody being jolly. And I found it quite interesting that the person who was supposed to do the wedding ceremony is not able to arrive, and Zaman steps in. And it's quite key that the whole wedding is in his home. And so he is like having everything, it's like it all comes together in that wedding ceremony.
I hope you laughed when you heard the sentence, "No tears allowed," because it will mess up our makeup.
But they were tears of joy. So. Yeah. And then again, even in this beautiful ceremony, things are coming through. Toprak receives his passport, which means he needs to make a decision. At the same time, Ara has finally warmed up and wants to give the relationship with Toprak a try. And Layla, what's going to happen with her? She might be pregnant. And all this is going on while this happy ceremony, while everybody's dancing and being jolly in that sense.
Yeah, so the gods even granted Layla a wish on a completely different level.
On a completely different level. And I love the way it was played like that. It was really lovely for it to play like that. Whereas we don't know how it goes forward, but what is good about it is that she seems to be quite accepting of what happens now. And then we come to the end of this particular series, which is where the cliffhanger comes, and nobody understands why this happened. Where Sefki opens a letter from her mother, and the truth is finally revealed to her. And how do you read that truth?
Well, it sounds like Aram and Buko fell in love first. She, as a young girl, walked into the shop. They glanced at each other. They loved each other immediately. A little relationship happened. And then the same guy was then shot because he was part of an activism program or something. And he got killed. And then the father that Sergei thought was her father stepped in and said, "No, don't worry, I'll take care of you." And he protected Moko and married her and became the surrogate stepfather of Sergei. But what's very interesting is that both of those people were shot and murdered. The one was shot, the other one was murdered. Very interesting that how that, shall we call it, karmic thread plays very strongly in Sergei's life. Yes,
that's why she's an attorney, to right the wrongs.
Yes, exactly.
And that is, it is very sad, but she then understands her mother, why her mother couldn't basically grieve her father, and she never quite understood that. But this news puts her into a relapse. And so the question is, was she healed? And why did she have a relapse? And so my take on it is that when we work, and Zaman did say it right in the beginning, he did say, this is not a medical treatment. This is alternate, but you have to still follow your medical treatment. But in the euphoria of feeling good and feeling better, she didn't see the need. And I think the reason why they put this message in here so strongly is for us not to have the expectation of miraculous healing. The expectation is your wounds, your emotional wounds get healed, but your body, you still need to do what is right for your body to do. And we need to protect ourselves when we do this work, not to promise what maybe not be able to be delivered.
I totally agree with you there. And I think we can expand a little bit on it, maybe at a later stage as well, because it's core to the work. I think the misconception sometimes is that constellation work or this form of work is competing with the scientific world, that we stand across the floor from each other. And I don't think that's the case. I think we're complementary to each other in relationship, because the one works on the symptomatic level and the other works on the causal level. Now, if you ask the question, what happened then in that relapse? What is potentially possible for her? Now, I think you and I know that in trauma, overwhelm can quickly cause a relapse of things that beautifully been built up in the subconscious, strong self-esteem, everything else. But triggers causes then relapse. And in this case, one could say that it was just too much for Sergey. It was an overwhelming, it's the wedding, everything happens at the same time. And on top of that, this news come at the night when she really wanted to celebrate her newfound love. So, hello, can you blame her that the subconscious then collapsed under that overwhelming bits of information that comes her way?
But for me, there's also for her the realization, whatever I believed the wrong thing. My whole life, I built on a different truth. And so it's her whole life on the truth that she had built it is basically collapsing. And for me, that's more the significance to it.
Great.